Hello, my name is Kerrioth, and today we're going to talk about the Space Marine chapter tactics that have been revealed by Games Workshop on the Warhammer community site. And we're going to do a little bit of kind of, is this good or not? But mostly what I want to focus on is like the fluff side of things, the lore side of things, whether these new chapter tactics properly kind of explain what the chapter is all about. And by and large, I think they've done a pretty good job, although I will admit that in terms of tabletop power, there are a couple that I really like, and there's one particularly that I really don't like. But we're just going to get straight into it. Now, these are for the problem is that I've seen this described as the Codex compliant chapters, which is fine, except I would not class the Black Templars as Codex compliant, personally. They have a weird structure. They've got neophytes, they've got all kinds of crazy shit going on. They also don't really give a shit about the number limitations that come with using the Codex. So I'm not really sure whether they should be classed as Codex compliant or not. Things like Space Wolves, Blood Angels, Dark Angels, and Grey Knights, obviously they are completely separate in a way. They'll be getting their own codexes, and so their chapter tactics have not yet been displayed. These are for the Codex compliant guys, sort of. Ultramarines, Black Templars, Salamanders, White Scars, Imperial Fists, Raven Guard, and Iron Hands? Yes, Iron Hands. I knew I'd forgotten one of them. Anyway, let's just go straight into it and let's see what we think of these here chapter tactics and whether they fit. So, the first one we will look at is the Ultramarines Codex discipline. The Sons of Gilliman hold the tenets of the Codex Astartes as sacrosanct. In the fury of combat, its wisdom guides them as they outmaneuver and overpower the foe with lethal precision. Boring, boring, boring. It's Ultramarines, what do you expect? Add 1 to the leadership characteristic of all Ultramarines models with this tactic. In addition, Ultramarines units with this tactic can still shoot in a turn in which they fall back. But if they do so, you must subtract 1 from their hit rolls in the shooting phase. I've got to be honest, I really like that. I really like that. That to me is pure Ultramarine. High leadership, the ability to make an orderly fall back during which they can actually continue firing at the enemy. That reminds me very heavily of Betrayer in the Horus Heresy series, where is it Betrayer? I'm pretty sure they're fighting the World Eaters and the Ultramarines have to fall back. And when the Ultramarines fall back, they do so rank by rank, maintaining a constant blanket coverage of fire, so that whilst they could still be chased, they are, they're still causing casualties and they are still tactically right on it, even as they are being forced away from the fight. So I actually really like that. The description of it is a bit flowery and over the top, but then it kind of tends to be with Ultramarines especially. That just comes with the territory. They're the Ultramarines. They're the best. They're not the best. Black Templars. Righteous zeal. True believers in the Imperial Creed, the Black Templars wish for nothing more than to slaughter the heretic and Xenos in the name of the God Emperor. You can re-roll failed charge rolls for Black Templars with this tactic. That's kind of, it's fluffy, but that's kind of boring to me. I'll be honest, I was kind of hoping for a bit more for Black Templars. I was actually kind of hoping there'd be some sort of extra bonus for charging. So, I don't know, like maybe an extra attack would be too much, but I was hoping for something a little more than just re-rolling failed charge rolls. It fits, and the Black Templars are massively overzealous. They want to get into close combat, they want to beat stuff just to death in the name of the God Emperor, and that's fine, but especially compared to some of the other chapter tactics, that feels a little lackluster. Fluffy but not exciting, I think is the best way to put it for how I feel about that one. White Scars Lightning Assault. The White Scars are true masters of the hunt. Theirs is the primal fury of the storm, the scent of prey upon the wind. None can escape their righteous justice. Actually, they're all pretty fucking flowery, aren't they? I take it back, it's not just the Ultramarines. They've gone well over the top with this, and I love it. Whenever a White Scars unit with this tactic advances, it moves an extra 2 inches in addition to the distance rolled. Also, biker units with the turbo boost ability therefore move an additional 8 inches when advancing. In addition, White Scars units with this tactic can still charge in a turn in which they fell back. Holy fucking movement, Batman. What the hell? That is nice. I really like that. That is 100% White Scars all of the time. I'm pretty sure that the White Scars will also have access to, there's going to be various relics and stuff that the different chapter characters can take, and you can build your own character and give them chapter-specific relics, which is awesome. There's something in the back of my head that says that I read, possibly in the previous... No, it was the White Scars chapter focus, that there was an extra relic that also affected movement, and that to me is pretty fucking good. Both fluff-wise and kind of tabletop-wise. White Scars look to be really, really mobile, especially being able to charge in a turn in which they fell back. It's obviously very, very White Scars. I forget what their motto is, but it's something along the lines of fall back and then return, something along those lines. I like that. That is really fluffy. It looks to be pretty good in terms of actual tactics. Yeah, I wholeheartedly approve of that one. So far, Ultramarines and White Scars I'm really liking, but can you see what I mean about the Black Templars feeling a little bit lackluster right now? We've got like a nice couple of bonuses for Ultramarines and White Scars, but we've only got really the one effect for Black Templars that doesn't... I don't know, it doesn't feel quite as nice. Let's move on to the Salamanders, Master Artisans. The Salamanders are peerless craftsmen capable of forging weapons of outstanding quality and lethal power from the furnaces of Nocturne. You can re-roll a single failed hit roll and a single failed wound roll made for a Salamander's unit with this tactic each time it shoots or fights. That's pretty good. I like that. Again, it's very Salamanders. I kind of miss the flamer focus, almost like the master... I mean, it's technically kind of the master crafted focus is what it is, but for some reason the wording of it doesn't seem as impressive. But I mean, a re-roll for a single failed hit roll and a failed wound roll is nothing to sniff at. When it says unit, it can be... I think that's maybe a little bit too ambiguous. I'm not sure whether it's 100% clear. I could see people having discussion about that as to what it actually means. But yeah, it seems fluffy enough. Again, though, it's the same thing twice, which works mechanically and does work fluff-wise, but it's not like exciting. Which obviously not all of these things need to be exciting, but I think that side of things isn't something that should be underestimated when you're trying to persuade people to pick different chapter tactics, if you know what I mean. Okay, let's move on to Imperial Fists. Siege Masters. Poor bastards. None are as well versed in siege warfare as the Imperial Fists. No fortress world is safe from their pinpoint bombardments and disciplined fusillades of bolter fire. Enemy units do not receive the benefit to their saving throws for being in cover against attacks made by Imperial Fist models with this tactic. In addition, you can reroll any failed wound rolls for Imperial Fist units with this tactic when they are targeting a building. Oh lord, it's fluffy, but if I thought there was a bit of lackluster to Black Templars, and I'll be honest, I feel like there's a little bit of lackluster with Salamanders. That is underwhelming as fuck. It's incredibly fluffy. Don't get me wrong. That is pure fluff. I'm loving it. Imperial Fists are obviously the best that the Imperium has in terms of siegecraft, so it makes 100% sense that they should be able to take down buildings. The downside to this is the number of times I have actually seen people use buildings is not big. It's really not big. I'm talking across battle reports, watching like battles in person. I just don't see that particular part of the skill, that part of the tactic, getting that much action, to be honest. It's really fluffy, but it's just so situational. Everything else so far has been, well, it's been good in that it can apply to pretty much any and all circumstances. You know, there's a good chance that you will have to fall back in some respect, in which case the Ultramarines ability, really good. Same for White Scars. In fact, White Scars tactics kind of rely on that kind of manoeuvre. Black Templars, though it's not particularly exciting, failing a charge roll is shit. Being able to re-roll it, that's awesome. Same with Salamanders. It might seem a little bit lackluster compared to others, but it's actually not too bad. It's not weak. It's applicable all the goddamn time. Re-roll a single failed hit roll and a single failed wound roll. made for a Salamander's unit with tactic each time it shoots. Each time, that's the key, each time it shoots or fights. That's not situational, that just happens all the goddamn time. That's really good. Re-rolling failed wound rolls for Imperial Fist units while they're targeting a building is so niche, it's so situational. So, fluffy? Yes, absolutely. And in that respect, well done. Actually, good? I don't really know if it is, if I'm honest. I like the not having the benefit of cover, but again, I don't know. The Imperial Fists I feel are properly fluffy in terms of their chapter tactic, but I just don't like their chapter tactics. It's just me. I'm not particularly competitive in terms of 40k, so I could just be talking shit, but that is my gut feeling of it. I may well be wrong. I've been wrong before, it happens. But yeah, overall fluffy, not great in my opinion. Finally, Iron Hands, the flesh is weak. The Iron Hands seek transcendence through the replacement of their mortal flesh with cybernetics and metal augments. Such extensive modification renders them extremely difficult to kill. Roll a dice each time an Iron Hands model with this tactic loses a wound. On a 6, the damage is ignored, and the model does not lose a wound. I mean, what? It's just feel no pain, again, which is fine, because feel no pain absolutely fits Iron Hands. It was perfectly good before, and it's perfectly good now, and in fact, the Strike Force Ultra that I had, this is probably a terrible idea, but the Strike Force Ultra that I have, I've not got rid of it, that I have, I always ran them as Iron Hands just for the feel no pain. Just, I really liked that sort of extra safety net on top of your 2+ saves on your Terminators and your 4+ invulnerables and your 5+ invulnerables, so on and so forth. So yeah, that's it's fluffy, it works, it's not really situational at all because it'll apply all the goddamn time. It's good, I like it. So overall, I have to admit, I really like the Ultramarines. I really like White Scars. I like Iron Hands. Oh shit, we didn't do Raven Guard. I do apologise. They snuck by me. They Raven Guard. They're stealthy. They snuck past. Okay, Raven Guard Shadow Masters. From the shadows, strike the Raven Guard, emerging with dizzying swiftness to gut the foe before they have a chance to react. Your opponent must subtract 1 from any hit rolls when shooting at Raven Guard units with this tactic if they are more than 12 inches away. Again, I like that. I do like that. I've got to say, it's fluffy. Again, it's fluffy. I'm liking the fact that these are... They all feel 100% appropriate for the armies to which they've been assigned, which I know that sounds like it's like, well, what else would you expect? But let's be honest, it's very easy to just treat all Space Marines as just, oh, they're just Space Marines. Actually having something that properly fits the character of specific chapters within the Space Marines as a whole to give them a unique flavour, I don't think is an easy thing to do. And whilst I did like the various things that you got in 7th, I think they've done a good job in 8th. And I like pretty much all of these in terms of fluff. They all seem 100% appropriate, even if they don't seem that great in terms of tabletop power. So, yeah, I mean, subtract 1 from any hit rolls when shooting at Raven Guard units if they are more than 12 inches away. That's pretty fucking good, I think. That strikes me as being quite strong. And I do like that because the Raven Guard, you're not supposed to see them coming in the first place, and if you do, they're supposed to be able to just slip out of the way of your bolt fires. So, yeah, overall, I've got to say, I'm really impressed. I like the chapter tactics that they've got. I like the application of them. I like the way they've actually made it so that it makes sense. Strength-wise, as I say, a couple strike me as being not particularly awesome, but... at least they're all fluffy. I would be interested to hear what you think about the Imperial Fist ones especially, though, because I can see applications for all of the others. Some more than others. I think the problem is that some of them strike me as being just blanket abilities. Like, they will always be appropriate. Like, +1 to leadership is just +1 to leadership. That will always be in effect. Things like re-rolling a single failed hit roll and wound roll. Each time a Salamander's unit fights or shoots, that is just on all the time. It's not situational. The Black Templars one, it's appropriate, feels a little bit underwhelming, and it is obviously situational. Again, White Scars, it's just on all the time. Iron Hands, it's on all the time. Raven Guard, it's on all the time. But I mean, technically, actually, the Iron Hands one is a little bit different because it only applies when you actually lose a wound. But yeah, the Imperial Fists out of all this, I don't know if they're getting the short end of the stick or whether I just don't like the kind of actual mechanical impact of their chapter tactic. But yeah, I'd be interested to hear what you think about that. Which one is your favourite? Which one do you think you will use with your Space Marines? Has these chapter tactics made you think you might want to switch which chapter you use? For instance, if you are Imperial Fist, are you disappointed? Would you want to try something else? Are the draws of a chapter tactic from another chapter so great that you would, in fact, repaint your force, or maybe do some cheeky messing about to make them fit someone else? For instance, I've got to admit, I really like the Raven Guard. I really like that chapter tactic. It's just a good chapter tactic to me. That -1 to hit rolls, 12 inches away, that seems pretty damn good. But yeah, anyway, there we go. Those are the chapter tactics, and we'll be back on Friday for more Warhammer 40k. Let me know what you think of all these in the comments below, which one you like the best, which one you hate the most. And as always, thank you very much for watching. There are more videos all over the screen. There's a Patreon thing, a subscribe thing, and all that bullshit. And yeah, I will see you next time. Toodaloo.